Welcome back to the channel, people. Day in your life with a London plumber, working in Hackney, 2 faulty toilets, 1 hour on the parking meter, and a push button that needs replacing, but I'm not going to remove the toilet pan. Let's go. Make sure you smash that subscribe button, turn on your notifications, and I have timestamped this whole video so it makes it easier for you, but I am faced with such a challenge, crushing it with this time. So what I do is I diagnose every single problem when I turn up to any type of job. So the fault is the toilet is overflowing. So what I need to do is I need to have a look and see if I can lower the level of the float valve so it's underneath where it goes over the overflow. Yeah, you can see it in the video right now. It's happening. So that is actually one of the problems. It's a quick adjustment which you can do with a flat screwdriver, but that can't be the only problem. The toilet siphon button is just not working. I pushed it in a few times, we're not getting a flush. So at this point, I'm thinking, something must be up. If you can tell me what you think it is before you see it on the screen, please do write in the description box below. At this point, my main concern is really just making sure the toilet can flush, which it's not really doing once I push the flush button in. So as I remove it, I've realized, oh, look around the casing and the housing of the plastic. I've tried to push my screwdriver in it because when you push your screwdriver in it, it should release the diaphragm to be able to flush. But, oh no. And at this point, I've decided, yeah, we need to get a new siphon because that crack housing, every time you push the push button, it wasn't going to move and it allowed the plastic to start flexing, right? So therefore, I had to get a replacement one. Started hitting the internet, realized, oh no again. This is now obsolete. So I can't actually get this part, but I'm actually going to go to a plumbing shop and I'm going to take the siphon with me because if I'm going to get a replacement, it needs to be like for like as much as I can, and something which I'm able to put the old diaphragm on the new siphon. Make it make sense for you. Don't make more work for you when you're working out there, when you're definitely on a time frame. I was on a time frame, and at this point, I just wanted to get the head of the siphon out so I can take it to a shop and ask them, have you got something like this? It was a wishing win. How can I say? I'm not sure if it's going to work, but you know what? I'm going to give it a go because, again, we are crushed for time. So I wanted to make sure that siphon just wasn't working at all and that plastic wasn't just sticking. But it wasn't, people. I didn't give up. I was persistent and I realized it had beaten me. I'm not going to do anything about that crack. And all I was doing now was just wasting a bit of time. Luckily, the information was on top of the siphon.
Few moments later.
Toilet number 2. The problem was the toilet wasn't flushing as the other toilets. So when you flush a toilet, you can look in the pan and see how much like water's coming through. And I done a visual inspection while flushing it a few times and realizing it was quite weaker than the other toilets. So started to scratch my head and started to think about what am I going to do about this. What we're going to do is we're going to just replace the siphon again. You do get a little bit of dirt and debris built up on that plastic seal once you take out the siphon, but if it doesn't feel powerful enough, my thing is go back to the drawing board and just replace it. That's the main thing. So it wasn't overflowing like the second one. I did check it for its working functionalities a few times, but there's only so much times you want to actually flush the toilet because at some point you're just wasting water. So I done a visual inspection of the other ones, let this one run a few times, then realized, you know what, let's take out this siphon as well. And if we can get 1, we can get 2, and that equals a win in my books. So we just keep testing, keep on testing. You need to see it visually and say to yourself, yes, I do agree. There is less water being flushed down the toilet. So let's find this lucky shop, which is probably going to save my life for the day. Let's go.
So the button was snapped off, so I had to go to a plumber shop real quickly, replace that. and yeah, see what I've got on.
Quick shout out to Wenworth here in Hackney. They are a heating, plumbing, and electrical hardware shop. This guy in the shop was super helpful. He got me what I needed, and he actually saved the day. He actually saved the day. So that's why I'm shouting at this shop. They had loads of bits, and I was able to put the toilet siphon diaphragm into the old one to make sure it fits, and that gave me so much joy. Gotta get back to the job, people. POV look. And if you look right now, yeah, you will see that the toilet siphon, the lead is actually a lot longer, so it connects onto the push button a lot easier. So that made me think, aha, Einstein moment. I need to make sure the siphon is at the right angle so it's able to get over. It was a bit of a problem, but you got to do a bit of jiggery pokery when you're dealing with these types of siphons. Again, it clicks out and clicks into place. The grooves actually sit inside at the right point, so it does create a nice seal. It doesn't wobble or anything. They're not probably meant to marry up to each other, but I will leave the two different siphons, the one which is obsolete and the ones actually which go in it, which is called a Flowmaster Pro 5.5, I think. But I will leave it in the description box below so you can see. And at this point, I realised I'm going to do it. So I've got to change the button in the front as well, because if you put something new on, why would you be leaving the old button? But I'm still pressed for time, people. Remember, I've been to the shop already. I've had a little look. I am pressed. We are down to like the last 15 to 20 minutes. And at this point, there's a bit of forehead sweat. I'm not going to lie. And it probably happens to everyone. But my whole thing to take from this job, yeah, is composure. Allow yourself to analyze the job and not let the job get too much for you. So I think in processes, right? So after looking at the job, realizing that it's not a straight repair, it's quicker to replace, I make that decision for myself and I say to myself, what's going to get this working now? What's going to get this working now is if we replace it. Having a replacement one is a dream. There are loads of siphons. I would not like to name how many siphons there are in different styles, but there are loads. And you need to know the different ones when you go into different places, because anyone's can be installed there. I did have a little heads up on this job because my uncle sent me here and he told me what type of siphons they did have. But once we started searching on the internet, we realized they were obsolete. So again, we're in big problems, innit? But keeping the information and knowing to yourself that these are the ones what fit it if you do need a replacement, it's going to make your time so much easier. And again, I'm still pressed for the time because I've got to put the push button on, I've got to test it as well, and then I've got to see the client on the way out. And I've probably only got about 20 minutes here. But I know I can do it. There's a bit of squeezing of my hands as well. I wanted to give you a little POV look on it and show you actually what goes on into it. So just putting the button in the front, it's just a twist and turn. So it's a nut which has got a thread on it. The thread goes up it to hold it in place, and then you actually click the button. There is a push. There's a button what you push in to be able to push onto the thread, and it sits on it and clamps on it as you release that button. Yes, people, I've got to say at this point, we definitely did get it done within time. So now I'm just making sure the float level is not going over the overflow and it's running correctly. I test generally 5 times before I even call any clients or say that it's done. Make sure you take pictures and videos, because this is part of like evidence on what you've done and the reason why you've done it as well, because it backs up something which might be your engineer's report or your report. I always make sure I do my report as I leave, because most jobs are fresh on my head. I can remember what I've done and also remember from the pictures and the photos. If you enjoy this day in your life type of content, I would also ask you guys to subscribe. If you stayed around this long and you enjoy learning stuff when I'm on the job, because I do sometimes too, which is being due diligent on this job would be the only thing to take from it. You never know what a hairline crack could do to a button, and it's the reason why it's not working. Maybe in this scenario, which is a club, these toilets get used a lot. I think there's about 6 or 7 toilets in a row. So there's many people in and out having a good time, and the push buttons just get abused. Plastic can only take so much because it's not meant to have a lot of pressure underneath it, right? But it's the type of push buttons which are available here. And every job can be different, people. That's one thing I definitely do want to say to yourselves. Giving myself this challenge allowed me to see how I cope underneath pressure, because every job can have its strenuous points. Definitely being a plumber, when you're going into an environment and you've only got an hour to fix it, it definitely builds up a level of pressure within myself, and obviously making sure that I am due diligent and I don't get callbacks to the jobs and the people are very happy with our services is most important. Keeping your standards and not just doing slapdash jobs or doing a quick fix and thinking, oh, it works. There's more guarantee in a replacement. I will always say that. And me being a plumber for over 22 years, fixing toilets, there's always something new to see. So before I left, like I said, I like to check everything is working. Everything is working prim and proper. And again, Ringo, please do get at me, because I'm spending half of my money on parking. So make sure you like, share and subscribe, people. And I'm going to show you the little bar. This is where I was actually working. If you ever go to this place, just know that I fix the toilets. And if you do go to this place, let me know in the comment section. Let's get it, people.